December 24th, 1955. Deep inside a top-secret military bunker in Colorado Springs, a red phone rings. This isn't just any phone. This is the hotline to NORAD, the Continental Air Defense Command, designed to detect Soviet nuclear threats during the height of the Cold War. Colonel Harry Shoup picks up, expecting a report about potential Russian bombers. Instead, he hears something that will change Christmas forever. A small child's voice asks, "Hello, is this Santa Claus?" What happened next created a tradition followed by millions of people around the world today. But to understand this story, we need to go back to one of the most dangerous periods in human history, and one newspaper ad that changed everything. The year is 1955, and the world is living under the shadow of nuclear annihilation. The United States and the Soviet Union are locked in the Cold War, a tense standoff where both superpowers have enough nuclear weapons to destroy the planet several times over. Every American city lives in fear. School children practice duck and cover drills. Families build bomb shelters in their backyards. The government distributes survival pamphlets. And in Colorado Springs, deep inside Cheyenne Mountain, the military operates the most sophisticated defense system on Earth. CONAD, the Continental Air Defense Command, later to become NORAD, monitors the skies 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Their mission is simple, but terrifying. Detect any incoming Soviet bombers or missiles before they reach American soil. The red phone on Colonel Harry Shoup's desk is a direct line for critical national security threats. This is the world where our story begins. A world where one wrong number could mean the difference between peace and nuclear war. But on this particular Christmas Eve, the wrong number would create something much more magical. Christmas 1955 was supposed to be just another holiday season. Sears Roebuck, one of America's biggest retailers, decided to run a special promotion in the Colorado Springs newspaper. They created an advertisement encouraging children to call Santa Claus directly. The ad was charming and simple. It showed a jolly Santa Claus with a phone number printed in big, bold letters. "Hey, kiddies, call me on my private phone and I will talk to you personally anytime, day or night." It gave children a magical opportunity to speak with Santa himself before Christmas. There was just one problem. Someone at Sears made a mistake. A tiny, innocent typographical error. They printed the wrong phone number. Instead of connecting to a Sears store with someone dressed as Santa, the number went somewhere completely different. That number belonged to the Continental Air Defense Command, the most secure military installation in the United States, the place where officers monitored for Soviet nuclear attacks. And on Christmas Eve, 1955, that phone started ringing and ringing and ringing. Colonel Harry Shoup was the director of operations at CONAD. He was a serious military man, a veteran who had served his country with distinction. On Christmas Eve, he was on duty, monitoring the screens for any sign of Soviet activity. When the red phone rang, his first thought was that this was it, a real threat. He grabbed the phone immediately, his heart pounding. This could be the call that started World War III. "This is Colonel Shoup," he answered in his most authoritative military voice. There was a pause. Then a small, nervous voice replied, "Are you really Santa Claus?" Colonel Shoup was confused. "What? Who is this?" The child on the other end started crying. The little boy thought he had done something wrong. He explained that his mother had given him the number from the newspaper to call Santa. In that moment, Colonel Shoup had a choice. He could have been angry. He could have hung up and traced the number to figure out what went wrong. Instead, something remarkable happened. This tough military officer, responsible for defending America from nuclear attack, decided to play along. "Yes, I am Santa Claus," he told the child. "Have you been good this year?" The boy's tears turned to joy. He started telling Santa about the presents he wanted, about how good he had been, about his excitement for Christmas morning. Colonel Shoup listened patiently, then assured the boy that Santa was on his way and would definitely visit his house that night. When he hung up, Shoup thought that was the end of it. A strange but heartwarming moment on Christmas Eve. But then the phone rang again, and again, and again. Within an hour, the phones at CONAD were ringing off the hook. Dozens of children were calling, all asking for Santa Claus. The operators were confused. These were secure military lines. How were children getting through? Colonel Shoup quickly figured out what happened. He called Sears and discovered the newspaper ad with the wrong number. The damage was done. Thousands of newspapers had already been distributed across Colorado Springs. There was no way to stop the calls. But here's where the story becomes truly special. Colonel Shoup could have shut down the line. He could have issued a statement telling parents not to call. Instead, he made a decision that would echo through history. He gathered his staff and gave them an order. Answer every single call. Pretend to be Santa's helpers. Make these kids happy. Can you imagine the scene? Military personnel trained to detect nuclear threats, sitting at their radar screens, picking up phones to talk to excited children about toys and reindeer. Officers plotting Santa's imaginary route on maps used for tracking enemy aircraft. One airman even went to the radar screen and jokingly announced that he had detected an unidentified flying object traveling at impossible speeds from the North Pole. The entire operations room burst into laughter. They started tracking Santa on their screens, giving position updates to children who called. "Santa is currently over Newfoundland heading south," they would report with complete seriousness. "His sleigh is traveling at extraordinary speed. Rudolph's nose is clearly visible on our radar." The first Christmas Eve, Colonel Shoup and his team answered every single call. Hundreds of children spoke to Santa's helpers at what they believed was the North Pole, but was actually America's nuclear defense headquarters. The local newspapers picked up the story. "Military tracks Santa on radar," read one headline. "CONAD becomes Santa's workshop for Christmas Eve," said another. What could have been a public relations nightmare became a heartwarming human interest story. Parents loved it. Children were thrilled. And the military personnel found unexpected joy in bringing Christmas magic to kids during the darkest period of the Cold War. In a time defined by fear and nuclear anxiety, this accident created a moment of pure innocence and happiness. Colonel Shoup decided this couldn't be a one-time thing. The following year, 1956, he prepared in advance. He contacted local media and announced that CONAD would officially track Santa Claus on Christmas Eve. This time, it wasn't an accident. It was intentional. Radio stations started broadcasting Santa's location based on information from CONAD. Newspapers printed maps showing Santa's route around the world. What began as a mistake transformed into a beloved tradition. In 1958, CONAD was restructured and became NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command. The mission expanded, the technology advanced, but the Santa tracking tradition continued. Every year, NORAD dedicated resources to tracking Santa. They created a special phone line specifically for children to call. They issued press releases with Santa's estimated time of arrival in different cities. They even produced tracking maps that showed Santa's journey around the globe. As technology evolved, so did Santa tracking. In the 1960s, NORAD started using television to broadcast Santa's location. In the 1970s, they created special radio programs. In the 1980s, they began taking the tradition even more seriously, with more personnel and resources dedicated to it. But the real revolution came in 1997. That's when NORAD launched the first Santa tracking website. Suddenly, children around the world could watch Santa's journey in real time. No phone calls necessary, just a computer and an internet connection. The website was simple at first, but it captured imaginations globally. Kids from Japan to Brazil to Australia could log on and see exactly where Santa was at any moment. They could calculate when he might reach their house. The tradition that started with a wrong phone number in Colorado Springs had become a worldwide phenomenon. Today, the NORAD Tracks Santa program is one of the most sophisticated Christmas operations on the planet. Every year on December 24th, more than 1,500 volunteers from the United States and Canada staff the operation. The program has evolved far beyond those first phone calls in 1955. The modern operation includes a website available in 8 languages, mobile apps for iOS and Android, a presence on social media platforms, and partnerships with major tech companies like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. The website receives hundreds of millions of visits every Christmas Eve. The phone lines take over 100,000 calls from children around the world. The social media accounts have millions of followers who track Santa's journey in real time. But here's what makes it special. It's still staffed entirely by volunteers. Military personnel, their families, and civilian volunteers give up their Christmas Eve to answer phones and respond to emails from excited children. They take this responsibility seriously. Volunteers go through training. They learn how to speak to children of different ages. They're prepared for difficult questions like calls from kids whose parents are deployed overseas, or children who are spending Christmas in hospitals. They're taught to bring joy and magic to every interaction. The technology is incredible. NORAD uses the same satellites and radar systems that defend North America to create a playful animated tracking experience. The website features Santa flying over famous landmarks, stopping at different cities, feeding his reindeer. It combines cutting-edge military technology with childhood wonder. What makes this story truly remarkable isn't the technology. It's the human element. It's the fact that the most powerful military organization in the world dedicates time and resources to making children happy. Think about Colonel Harry Shoup's decision in 1955. He could have been angry about the disruption. He could have seen those calls as a security breach. Instead, he saw an opportunity to bring joy during a dark time in history. The volunteers who staff the program today carry on that spirit. They're military personnel who spend their days defending the country, but on Christmas Eve, they become Santa's helpers. They talk to children about reindeer and presents and Christmas magic. There are countless stories of meaningful interactions. A volunteer talking to a child whose parent is deployed overseas, assuring them that Santa knows where military bases are located. An airman comforting a sick child in a hospital, promising that Santa has them on his list. Officers speaking in broken Spanish or French to children calling from other countries, doing their best to communicate the magic of Christmas. This tradition has touched generations. Children who called NORAD in the 1960s now have grandchildren who track Santa online. Families make it part of their Christmas Eve ritual, logging onto the website together or calling the hotline to get Santa's current location. The NORAD tracks Santa program has had an unexpected impact beyond just Christmas magic. It's become one of the most successful public relations operations in military history. In a world where military organizations are often viewed with suspicion or fear, this program shows a different side. It humanizes the people who serve. It demonstrates that behind the weapons and the technology are real people who care about children and communities. The program has also inspired similar initiatives. Other countries have created their own Santa tracking programs. Businesses and organizations worldwide have developed Christmas tracking technologies inspired by NORAD's example. From an educational perspective, the program introduces children to concepts like radar, satellites, and geography in a fun, engaging way. Kids learn about time zones as they watch Santa move from one region to another. They get a basic understanding of how tracking technology works. They see how science and technology can create wonder. The program has also become a bridge between military families and civilian communities. Children of service members take pride in their parents' participation. Civilian children get a positive connection to military service. It breaks down barriers and creates understanding. What started as a simple mistake, a wrong number in a newspaper advertisement, has become one of the most enduring Christmas traditions in the world. For nearly 70 years, NORAD has tracked Santa's journey around the globe, bringing joy to hundreds of millions of children. Colonel Harry Shoup passed away in 2009, but his legacy lives on every Christmas Eve. His children remember how much the tradition meant to him. He kept a scrapbook of letters from children thanking him for helping them reach Santa. He saved newspaper clippings about the program. Until his final years, he would smile when December approached, knowing the tradition he started would continue. The original Sears ad that caused the mix-up has become a collector's item. The phone number is now retired, replaced by the official NORAD Santa hotline. But the spirit remains the same. A child picks up the phone, dials a number, and reaches someone who tells them, yes, Santa is real, and yes, he's on his way. In our modern world of cynicism and division, the NORAD Tracks Santa program reminds us of something important. It shows us that magic can come from unexpected places, that mistakes can create beauty, that military might and childhood innocence aren't opposites. They can work together to create something wonderful. It proves that sometimes the best traditions aren't carefully planned. They're born from accidents, from spontaneous acts of kindness, from someone making the choice to bring joy instead of disappointment. So this Christmas Eve, when millions of children around the world log onto NORAD Santa, org to track Santa's journey, remember the story behind it. Remember the Cold War bunker, the red phone, the wrong number in a newspaper ad. Remember Colonel Harry Shoup, who could have ended the magic with a single angry response, but instead chose to play along. Remember the volunteers who give up their Christmas Eve to answer phones and emails to keep the magic alive for another generation. Remember that behind the sophisticated technology and the military precision is something beautifully simple. People who care about making children happy. The NORAD Tracks Santa program is more than just a Christmas tradition. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, even in the midst of nuclear tension and global conflict, humanity finds ways to create light. It's proof that one person's decision to choose kindness can echo through decades. From a Cold War accident came a tradition that brings together millions of people across cultures, languages, and borders. It connects military personnel with families. It links technology with imagination. It transforms defense systems designed for war into tools for wonder. And it all started with a child's voice on a phone line, asking a simple question. Is this Santa Claus? Sometimes the wrong number turns out to be exactly the right number after all.